Proud, but for those of you I haven't had the pleasure yet to meet, my name is Stephanie Garadia. This is my best friend turned business partner, so potentially my former best friend, Angelica Brunke. And our company is called Versatile Med Analytics. So we are a healthcare analytics consulting firm. Now, if you're like 80, maybe 90% of the people that we talk to, very first question we get is, what is healthcare analytics? Put in a nutshell, we use data to root out new ways to solve old problems. In the healthcare space, these are things like, how do we continue improving patient care? Where can we find more dollars? How do we stay out of trouble with the feds and regulations? How do I get better results with what I currently have and not have to purchase something new? I could probably go on and on all day because there are 1,000 other questions just like these, no matter your size, big or small, from the independent doctor down in Roswell, New Mexico, to a medical group like women's specialists, a clinic or a hospital, even a Blue Cross Blue Shield, especially a Blue Cross Blue Shield, all the way up to a governmental agency such as the Human Services Department, or HSD, who manages some 800, 900,000 Medicaid lives across the state of New Mexico. Thousands of questions being unanswered every single day, when the answers are often within your own systems. You just have to know how and where to look. That's where we come in. We can pull those answers out. Now, most healthcare analytics companies focus on this slice of the big picture, the healthcare piece. Rightly so. This data is extremely complex and the industry is extremely nuanced. But when you step outside of the circle, you see that at the end of the day, all of these organizations are still businesses facing the same business struggles that any other business is facing, maybe even more. Growth, marketing, and sales. Why are people going to Loveless instead of UNM? Of course, finance, revenue, and even risk management. How do we stay solvent when every day is essentially a financial gamble? Operational efficiency, one of my favorites and a big one. These are things like, how do we reduce the wait times in our emergency room? Are we staffing enough nurses? Are we staffing too many nurses? Of course, our favorite, technology, innovation, R&D, or research and development. This is where analytics typically falls, and aside from the entire industry that's been created around healthcare IT, this is also where you see new and exciting technologies like machine learning and artificial intelligence, not even just in healthcare, but in general. Those new technologies have actually opened the door to using all kinds of new and unconventional data in the healthcare space that has never been used before. Social data. What's my Yelp score of my hospital? That's a thing now. What are people saying about me on Twitter? Is that why they're going to Loveless instead of UNM? Geospatial data, crime data, pollution data, credit scores, census data, salary, the list goes on and on and on. All of these things influencing not only our patient and our members' behaviors, but our employees' behaviors. In turn, that affects every single aspect on here. We believe that you need to take a holistic view of all of these things to get a full picture, not just of the health of your patient or member, not even just for the health of our client organizations, but really the health of the industry as a whole. All of these factors are going to influence where the industry goes or what prevents it from moving there in the future. Of course, having worked with data in all of these areas, these are just some of the things that make us versatile. But there are also a lot of things that make us different.
So what image comes to mind when you think of a typical analytics department? Chances are something a little like this. You've got a group of people shoved off in a corner, hunched over their desk, just plugging away. And the truth is, this isn't too far from the truth. Stephanie and I know because we've been there. We worked in the reporting departments of all of the large healthcare organizations that we've been at. These are our friends, these are our colleagues, and we know what they're up against every day. Confined by organization process. Doing things the way they've always been done because that's how it's dictated. With Versatile, we're bringing the proactive and the outside perspective. We're the ones asking the questions. We're the ones with a different take because we're on the outside coming in. These guys are overburdened with requests. They're supporting the reporting needs of an entire company. They're cranking out report after report after report, just trying to keep up with the workload that never ends. Versatile, we bring the Tiger team and rapid response approach, and that's because we have the capacity to do it. These guys, highly technical, extremely smart, often not given a lot of face time in the boardroom. We are a little bit different from the typical techie. Women, minorities, empowering decision makers, but still techies too. These guys tend to be the longtime employees. They've been with their companies for a long time and they have a great deal of expertise that's valuable, but it tends to be organization specific. Versatile promotes the gig economy and growing local talent. We've embraced the changing labor market. There's been a shift from the permanent full-time gigs to more short-term contracting work, freelancing. That enables us to bring a wide breadth of experience and knowledge to multiple organizations alongside many others wanting to do the same. These guys are expensive. $70,000 to $80,000 a year, even in Albuquerque, plus benefits, recruitment costs, retention. Versatile is the economical solution. Because we've embraced the gig economy, we're able to bring concentrated expertise when you need it. Got a little nervous there. These guys are the in-house. That's valuable. We understand that. We can be on site too. We can work right beside them. But because of our tech setup, we can also be online and on demand, a term we've deemed out of house, but still one of your own. So we've talked a lot about how we're different, and here's what we've been doing so far. We're a young company. We just launched in August. The idea for Versatile came about in November of last year, and we've been busy doing a lot of things like social media, really trying to establish that online presence. Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, promoting thought leadership, wanting to provide value to the market that we want to serve. Marketing and design. 90% of that we've done on our own, and when I say we, I mean Stephanie. Turns out she's very good at this, or at least we think so far. Partnerships beyond healthcare. This was actually something that took us a little by surprise. We've had consultants from outside of the healthcare industry reaching out to us, wanting to get into the healthcare space, not knowing exactly how, or having large healthcare clients, and they necessarily don't want to become the analytics SMEs, so they've come to us. The last thing, and really the most time-consuming and intense, has been networking, and more networking. Something that analysts should never be faced with doing, yet we're doing it day in and day out. Biggest challenge in my life. Really, we've taken the approach of wanting to get our names, our faces out there, wanting to spread Versatile's mission, help people understand that. Targeted approach, something we need to think a little bit about more, how to manage our time a little bit more effectively. Would love your thoughts on that. So our asks of the community. How do you get in front of the right audience? What are your tips? What are your approaches? How do you do it? Explaining our value. Healthcare analytics, not the lightest of conversation topics in any setting. How do you explain, or how do we explain what we do in such a clear and concise manner that everybody gets it? Landmines in our model. What do you see that stands out? Maybe something we're overlooking, something we should be aware of but hasn't stood out to us yet. And lastly, when to pivot. So we hear about companies all the time. They make a change, whether the market dictates it, outside circumstances dictate it. What should we be on the lookout for, and how do you know when to make that shift? So with that, I think we'll open it up for questions and feedback.